ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. So today's topic is Sri Ramakrishna and his teachings. Of course, it is based on Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So most of you already read about Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. But what is the speciality again to study? See, this Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna teachings is not one-time reading. It is just like Parayana. Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, many people will do Parayana. Why? Every day same Parayana you are doing. Because when you go on repeating the same thing again and again, all the impurities will go away. That is the purpose. Certain books, you can, any novels, stories, one time you can read and finish it up. That's all. It is not like that. Because see, so many things, bad things we are go on hearing. What is happening? Always thinking about negative things, hearing about negative things. What will happen? Our mind will become cynical or will become more negative. So we have to make some positive ideas. Because it should be brainwashed. We are already brainwashed with external world. So that we have to wash it properly. We have to clean our mind to put. So you cannot clean just like that. You cannot delete anything. Only overwrite it. So you cannot destroy anything in this world. Only we can overwrite it. This, for example, you take computer. Computer, one option is a delete. One particular data should be deleted. Is it really deleting, completely nullifying? No, you are overwriting. It is program is written like this. So you are overwriting. So we are overcoming negative thought from positive. What is the purpose? To know the reality. To have absolute bliss, happiness. Nobody wants to be unhappy. Everybody wants to be happy. That is the purpose. So gospel idea, why I have taken this subject? So many subjects, why already people are, it is very easy to understand. Sri Ramakrishna teachings are very easy to understand. Is it necessary to discuss? Is it necessary to special lecture on that? So I am not going to give lecture here. I am not going to give something new. But what I am doing, what we are doing here, sitting on, though I am reading, I am explaining something and you are listening, the purpose of this class is we are interacting with Sri Ramakrishna. We are interacting with God. Because this whole gospel, it is not just like Sri Ramakrishna gave us something, sermon. It is not like that. It is completely conversation. If you take any of our scriptures, if you take Bhagavad Gita, only conversation. The dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. And any Upanishads you take, the dialogue between the Guru and disciple. Any Tantra if you take, dialogue, the Mahanirvana Tantra, the dialogue between Shiva and Parvati. The whole of our scriptures, even Bhagavata was explained, Shukha was explaining to Parishit Raja. Why? The conversation will raise questions. Every statement of the scriptures, when you listen to it, then question should rise. You have to question our very existence, what I am. So when you question, when an inquiry starts, then only we'll seek the higher thing. If you just go on accepting everything, just okay, it is a book, it is mentioned, it is only sermon, it is a command, you have to follow. That means what will happen? Then all the doors will be closed. You will not be exposed to the reality. So that is in our tradition, in Sanatana Dharma, always questioning, answering. So in this gospel of Sri Ramakrishna class, Sri Ramakrishna and his teachings, though I am reading and explaining in different quoting from the Upanishads, all Shastras, it doesn't mean that I am giving lecture. It is just I am repeating the words of Sri Ramakrishna, words of God. You are talking to Sri Ramakrishna. That is the idea. In fact, I wanted to have this topic, interaction with Sri Ramakrishna. But people get confused. That is the reason I removed that one, Sri Ramakrishna and his teachings I put. But actually what we are going to do, you are interacting with Sri Ramakrishna. Okay, Ramakrishna and his teachings, that subject. Before understanding his teachings, first, you have to contemplate of Sri Ramakrishna's life. Why I am using contemplating Sri Ramakrishna's life? It is very difficult to fathom his personality. Sri Ramakrishna's life very difficult to understand. That is only we can contemplate on his life. Because his personality is so deep. And he is an ocean of experience, spiritual experience. So only we can have the taste of that. Then we have to understand why Sri Ramakrishna, what is the purpose of his coming. We are all talking about dharma, adharma. So what we already know the shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthana dharmasya atmanushamyam. Whenever dharma declines, then Paramatma avatara, he incarnates on this earth. First of all, what is dharma? Because this is very difficult question to answer. Dharma. Dharma, what we think dharma, it may be adharma. What we think adharma, it may be dharma. See, in Mahabharata, in war, Kurukshetra war, when Shri Krishna says Arjuna, when Karna was almost, he was about, his Ratha completely struck up. At that time he is asking to kill him. Then if you see from the, apparently if you see something is wrong, is it dharma? Because dharma is very subtle thing. The same question was put before Bhishma by Yudhishthira. Oh, Pitamaha, you are talking about dharma, adharma. What is adharma? What is dharma? Sometimes I get confused. Sometimes I think it is something, it is dharma, but it is something is becomes adharma. Something is wrong is going to happen. Sometimes what I think is adharma, it looks adharma, but it is going to, some good things is going to happen. How to understand this? This question was put before Bhishma. For that in Mahabharata 300 chapters about dharma and adharma. There in Mahabharata, then he starts. In Vishnu Sahasranama comes, ko dharma, this shloka comes. Then he says, oh Yudhishthira, what is dharma, what is adharma, to understand? Jagat Prabhum Deva Devam Anantam Purushottamam Stvarnama Sahasena Purusha Sotottitaha. It is one thing, all dharma, adharma you keep aside. What dharma means? To focusing towards the Bhagavan, Paramatma. Whatever you act, all your action, all your duties, whether it is taking you to the highest reality. That is dharma. Whether you be giving you the reality, whether you giving you realization of the reality, that is dharma. Jagat Prabhu. So focusing all your actions, whether your actions are taking you to the highest. So Bhishma says, that is the reason why Paramatma Avatara incarnates. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavatam means, what does it mean? establishing the reality, to focus it to people, to turn towards your mind towards the highest reality. Because every one of us in our lifetime, at least once you must have thought. Just you remember, just you ponder over it. Once in your life you say, why this is there? Why earth is there? When you look at the sky, so many stars, so many planets. Why all these things? Who created? Have you ever thought? Definitely you must have thought. But every one of us. But we see why it comes and we forget. Only one person continuously go on thinking. To know the truth. The yogis. So then, so many people definitely, why scientists are going, we are sending satellites, rockets, why? To explore this universe. Because it's the very nature of human being to know something. So why this knowing is there? Why this nature has given the capacity to know something? Why nature has given us this special power to know something? The knowledge, intellect, why it is given? The reason is, so all the answer for your problem, all the problems, there is solution. What is that? Knowledge. That knowledge is dharma. To establish that knowledge, establish that dharma, the Lord incarnates, Bhagavan incarnates. How he incarnates? Is he coming from Vaikuntha or somewhere else, from space? Is he alien? Is an alien? Coming from a different planet? From where Paramatma comes? Where God incarnates? This is one question. One question was asked. Rama, Sri Krishna, they are coming from Vaikuntha. They say, Purana, what Purana says? Sri Ramchandra, Paramatma, Sri Krishna, they incarnate, they descend on this earth, coming from Vaikuntha. Then question came, if Rama and Krishna, if they take birth, if they descend, if they incarnate, who will look after Vaikuntha? That question. So Vaikuntha is Kali now, it is empty. Who is managing? That question came. Natural, but it is quite good question only. Then you have to understand, then if he comes, then if he takes incarnation, then who is managing? Then the one person answered, but somehow I am not satisfied, but answer what he had told, I tell you. Now at present we are in this ashrama. Right now, the head of this center, Swami Gautamanand, he is the Adhyaksha of this center. He has gone outstation, or on tour. He is on tour. But he is the authority of this ashrama. But work is going on. Work is going on in spite of his absence. All the works are going on here. Nothing is stopped. Sunday lecture. Usually Swamiji Maharaj used to take Sunday classes. Now he has become old. He is reluctant to take class. So someone was appointed. So things are going on. So like that also, even Bhagavan, Paramatma, even in spite of incarnating, even though it is Vaikuntha is empty, but work will go on. That is one answer. Okay, that is some extent is satisfied. But you have to understand, Paramatma incarnate, then it is from the dualistic point of view. But Paramatma is confined to only Vaikuntha. See what Paramatma means? He is all pervading. He is everywhere. So how can we absent? He can be there in Vaikuntha as well as in the human body also. That is the answer. That means he is all pervading. It is to understand to our level all the stories. But real dharma What Paramatma, God incarnates, established a Sanatana Dharma, not Yuga Dharma. What is that Sanatana? That Sanatana is the only to show the people should understand that reality. To understand this reality of this impermanent of this world. In this world, material world, everything is impermanent. Only reality is Paramatma. God alone is real. All else is Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithyam. For that, we have different stories to make people understand the different stories, Puranas, all those things are there. Behind that, there is great philosophy. That same source only takes birth. Paramatma will not come from heaven, something top. He is coming from within the society, within this world. How? That is beautifully narrated by Swami Ishapremananda in Sri Ramakrishna Lila Prasanga. How Paramatma takes incarnation. It is only through the prayer of the devotees. In this world, in this society, so many people are suffering. All this is happening. It will happen. Even it was there in this Kali Yuga, even in Dwapara Yuga also, the problems were there. We cannot eradicate. Good and bad is only relative. It is not absolute. You have to understand. So absolutely bad, absolutely good, you will not find in this world. Even now it was there, it was not there. Now also, in future also, it will be there. It will be like this only. There is no absolutely good, absolutely bad. Only you are good and bad only from your perception, through your perception. So this, when person, suppose somebody is praying, I am so much of suffering. Why you go to temple? Why you go to some gurus? To solve if you don't have any solution, you will seek someone else. Suddenly somebody comes with, fortunately for you, we are suffering something from some disease or some financial problem. You are praying. Suddenly, without knowing, one person comes and helps. Maybe your own friend. Your own friend is coming and helping. Then what we say? Oh, God has come. God has sent through him. We experience. It happens in our life sometimes. Like that, in individual life, it has happened every moment. Our prayer is answered many times. When in society level, in the collective level, from individual level, when we are getting answered by Paramatma, when a collective level, those are deprived of, those who are very much suppressed, those people without any other help, they go on praying. Sadhus, bhaktas, devotees, continuously praying. When those prayers comes, that will be solidified. Your prayer will be solidified. That all the minds, the good thoughts, prayerful thoughts will condensed. That condensed form of the prayer will take the birth. That is the incarnation from this society. That because, that way, this was when Swami Vivekananda asked Sri Ramakrishna, just when Sri Ramakrishna was had cancer, was suffering from cancer, was almost in the deathbed. At that time, Swami Vivekananda just thought, at this moment, if my Guru Sri Ramakrishna says, I am the avatara, then I will accept. At that time, just he was thinking, he was not even expressing. Just he was thinking. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, then Sri Ramakrishna understood, oh Naren, still you have doubt. Then he said, he who was Rama in the Treta Yuga, he who was Krishna in the Dwapara Yuga, same Ramakrishna. Not in your Vedantic sense. In Vedanta, according to Vedanta, everybody is Brahman. Even Paramatma Shri Krishna is Brahman, I am also Brahman. So Krishna and I am same. But Sri Ramakrishna said clearly, not in your Vedantic sense, he said. Then I was very much confused about this in the beginning, reading this. Vedanta, what Vedanta says, Brahma Satya Jaganmati, everything is Brahman, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Everybody is Brahman. Because ignorance makes such difference. How to understand this? Then Vedanta says everybody is Brahman. And Sri Ramakrishna says, not in your Vedantic sense. Then go on contemplating the same. Now what it is, maybe in my interpretation, maybe you may have your own interpretation. I am not denying it. All these good thoughts, there are so many good people are there in this world. Everybody is Brahman, no doubt. The manifestation differs. Nobody is bad in this world, nobody is absolutely bad, nobody is absolutely good. But all the good thoughts, good prayers, the good soul, the same prayer produced Sri Ramachandra. The same prayer of the devotees produced Sri Krishna. And the same prayers made Sri Ramakrishna. Same prayers Sri Adi Shankara came. Same prayers Buddha came. So they are not coming from somewhere else and some alien place. They are not coming from the aliens. They are not aliens. You have to understand. The collective, the condensed form of our own spirit, collective spirit, each individual source, the collection of each individual source takes the form of avatara. So the same collective force taken incarnation, taken the form of Sri Ramachandra, take the collective force taken the form of Sri Krishna. Now taken the same collective spirit, collective souls taken the form of Sri Ramakrishna, Adi Shankara, Buddha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these forms have come like this, and according to need of the age. Need of what was the condition of the society. These things made them to take. So when the communities, people are suffering, people are praying, continuously when they pray collectively, then yes, some one person comes to uphold this dharma. That dharma, that the actual meaning of dharma means holding. What holds? That the reality. What is that reality? Brahma Satya. All God alone is true. All else is untrue. That God is within you, within me, within every one of us. Only thing is, makes a difference. Where do we differ? Because of ignorance. Because we remove that ignorance, to removing that ignorance only they come. The Dushta Shikshana, Shishta Rakshana, when they say, it doesn't mean that he will kill that Rakshasa. It's not like that. Kill that ignorance. Why human being, why we people commit mistake? Because of ignorance. To remove that ignorance only, this Lord comes. That is why Sri Ramakrishna says, and as we go and study this, his teachings, everywhere he says, what Sri Ramakrishna says, Brahman alone is Vastu, Shobhai, Bhagwan Vastu, Shobhai Avastu, he says. Everything is Vastu. Bhagwan is alone is Vastu. That is the only reality. All other things are Avastu. It is not impermanent, it is not existing. Sri Ramakrishna says. So, Paramatma yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata and means to establish dharma doesn't mean that something, what you are practicing, what your customs, you are changing the customs, is not that. Sri Ramachandra did not change any practices. Sri Krishna did not change anything. To make them understand this is the reality. The irony of this society, people wants to be happy, but nobody wants to to face the obstacles, face the hurdles to get the happiness. Everybody wants to happiness. Everyone wants to be happy. But to get that happiness, you have to suffer. For that, we are not ready. So if we want happiness, we should be ready to accept everything. We ought to be courageous. We should be adventurous. Suppose somebody wants to climb Mount Everest. What he has to do? He has to face all the hurdles. Because his goal is only one goal. I want to climb. I want to achieve that. I should reach that Mount Everest. For that, what he said, even he suffers, very difficult. Is it easy climbing the Mount Everest? So whether we will be alive, dead or alive, will be very difficult to say. He has to face. But once he achieved, yes, I have crossed all the hurdles and achieved, that bliss will come. So if you want to happiness, you want to be happy, you have to face all the troubles. The people are not ready. We are going towards ordinary happiness, impermanent happiness, seeking for impermanent. That is why Sri Ramakrishna in his life, when his brother Ram Kumar, he asked his younger brother Sri Ramakrishna, Gadai, his the previous name, Gadadhar Chattopadhyay, go on some work. Then what he said, I don't want to work for breadwinning work I don't want to do. I want to know reality. I want to know the truth. That was his answer. See, we are all seeking, whether you knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, we are all seeking that one happiness. Anybody is there in this world I want to be unhappy? No, I don't want to be happy, I want to be unhappy. Anybody is there? Because your nature itself is happiness. You are coming from that same bliss and you are going back to the same bliss. Everything is coming from same reality and going back to the same reality. That is the reality to establish. That is the dharma. For that only Bhagavan Sri Ram, all avatars takes avatar. All the same Paramatma takes different avatars in different age, different time. That is the purpose. Establishing dharma means to kill this one and establish only everybody will be good, absolutely happy. Is it possible? Let us think practically. Is it possible? Expecting everybody else, absolutely everyone else in the whole world, 700 crores of people are there in this world. So there will be no dearth of food, no dearth of money. Everybody is happy. Is it possible? Everyone has to work. Workout is their own karma. It will be like this. But everyone should strive for that reality. Strive. This is impermanent. So like that, just now I told, from this society alone, the prayers of the devotees takes the big wave. That big wave will come and all this destroy the miseries. In the Mahanarana Upanishad, the shloka is there. Samudra madhumagam udaradupagam shuna samrutattvamanat. Amrutatva, that amrutatva, from that amrita, samudra. That's what is the meaning of samudra. Mudra means stamp, seal, mudra. Samudra, Sam is his. Sam is he in Sanskrit. Sam is he. His stamp. What is all this material things, whatever you see in this, all created things in this world, everything is a stamp of that Paramatma. Everything is coming from him and goes back to him. That from that Amrutatvat, Samudra, Urmir Madhumagam, that waves, these are all, whatever seeing, all these material things are waves of that same Paramatma. On that same wave, one big wave like tsunami. When it comes tsunami, when it big tidal waves, when it comes, something disturbance in the creation, something disturbance happens in in the midst of the ocean, then only big wave comes. Is it not? Similarly, in the society, among the people in the society, somewhere some disturbance comes, some imbalance comes. The collective people, those are suffering people, they intensely, when they pray, oh Lord, please make it balance. Then the prayer, that intense prayer of those devotees will take the form. That form is Avatara. That is Paramatma. And where he takes birth? Is he taking birth in only wherever he likes? Somebody asked questions. In India, so many avatars. Why, whenever dharma declines, the avatara takes. That means so much of adharma is there in this country. They are asking question. Not like that. Because so much of adharma is there, that is why God is taking incarnation in this country alone. It is not like that. Because, just you imagine, all the incarnations, have they taken birth in some robbers or any questionable character house? Have they taken birth in that family? Where they take birth? Those father, mother, the parents, those are so pious, so pure. In their family only, Paramatma takes birth. Where the purity is there, there it takes birth. Similarly, when Avatara takes in particular place that means that place is land of Dharma. So just now what is Dharma? To establish the reality, that philosophy, Tattva. The ways Tattva is holding. Where the knowledge is worshipped, there only Paramatma takes. Where ignorance is there, first, unless you remove that ignorance, it is not possible. So, to establish that dharma, the reality, to make them understand, the people, this is the reality. Those who are immersed in the ignorance, to remove that ignorance, he needs to take birth only where the place is very clean. You cannot clean thing. If you want to wash vessel, you have to wash with pure water only. With dirty water you cannot clean. So in the whole world, you want to clean, remove the impurities of the society, you require clean place where you can take birth. Where there is dharma is respected. There only. That is why every parents, if they want to have a child, what type of child they expect? So my child should be very good character. Definitely every parent will expect. Nobody no parents want my son should be a robber, my son should be a dacoit. Anybody asking like this? Nobody. So when the prayer is there only, where the prayer comes, there only comes Paramatma. Similarly, when Sri Krishna took birth, because of so much of atrocities by Kamsa, the prayer of the Vasudeva and Devaki, their purity, because of their purity, so Paramatma took birth in Devaki's home. Prayer of the Kausalya, Sri Ramchandra has taken birth. Prayer of Vishnu Priya, Chaitanya's mother, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took birth. Similarly, the prayer of this society, prayer of this land, the devotees of this place, they prayed. Why they prayed? What was the need? Because why I am telling, before going to study this gospel of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, we have to understand Sri Ramakrishna's life. That is the reason. That is the reason I am giving introduction about Sri Ramakrishna. Because of course you must have read about Sri Ramakrishna's life, to whom he was born. I am not going to narrate his whole life history, biography. But the purpose of Sri Ramakrishna, what he did, why this gospel, why he did sadhana, so much of sadhana, 64 tantra sadhana, advaita sadhana, all these things. What was the need? That is the reason. So then, what was the condition? that society. During Sri Ramakrishna's advent, the whole society was completely immersed. One side complete superstition, one side completely westernized. People are becoming atheists. They are becoming atheists and forgetting their reality, forgetting their dharma. So much of confusion in the society, and the whole country was under slavish, under the ruling of Britishers, full of poverty. It is not just only forget about Paramatma, God realization. Even there is no so much of dearth of food. Not a single morsel of food was not available. That was the condition. And then one side, so much of superstition, so much of atrocities. This weak, the strong over weak. And one side, people are becoming completely westernized and no respect for elders, parents, and especially in the Calcutta, because at that time Calcutta was the capital of India, British India, that is. So whole society was concentrating in that particular area, because that was the administrative center. So it will be influence whole of India. At that time, this one great soul took birth at a very remote village, Khamarpukur. It is unknown village. This Sri Ramakrishna took birth. The first person who recognized Sri Ramakrishna as an incarnation, do you think that is it recognized by any Pandits? Any Shastra? No. Sri Ramakrishna as an incarnation, one first person who recognized his incarnation, one Shinu Shakari. He was belonged to so-called low caste. At that time, so-called low-profile society, is coming from low-profile society. When he was just Gadadhar, he was named Gadadhar, and Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna only hardly was a 4 or 6 years old boy, or 5 years old boy. He brought, when he was playing Shinu Shakari, he brought him to his house and praised him, asked him to sit. Oh Lord, he was 60 years old. He became very old. At that time, this man recognized his incarnation. Why this man recognized? Of course, later on, in Dakshineshwar, Mathur Babu Vishwas, when Bhairavi Brahmani came, Bhairavi Brahmani announced, she proclaimed Sri Ramakrishna is incarnation of Paramatma, incarnation of God. Then Pandits did not believe, they all referred. She quoted from all the scriptures. That is different thing. All those things are right. That is not the important. Recognized by an ordinary, insignificant man is the most important. Why I am telling? Because you have to understand it deeply. The society was so much distressed. Those people were distressed. So much of prayer. See why we are suffering? Because he's poor man. Nothing to eat. That man is recognizing means, that means so much of prayer he has done. Why prayer? Why did he pray? Because there's so much suffering. Suffering makes us to go towards highest. Generally, where we learn many things only by suffering, not by enjoying. When we are enjoying, you don't remember. We don't require any God. When suffering only comes, there's so much of suffering. Then, of course, he had so much devotion. That is true. He is the man who recognized first Shinu Shakar. Then he prays, asking Gadai to sit, and he prays Sri Ramakrishna. Gadai, I am so happy to see you. I am now happy to see you. I want to worship you. But now I am worshipping now itself. But one thing I am very much sad. I will not be able to see your Leela. Because by that, when you start doing your Leela, my body will not be there. I will not be able to see your Leela. That's so much devotion. That man recognized. How he recognized? See, that is the thing. All the scriptures, all your statements, shastras, is not the criteria to recognize any person as great. The criteria for recognizing a person great only through experience. One who experience. See, for example, books. First, ideas comes first, or books will come. Through ideas, whatever you get ideas, based on that only you write the books. By reading books, you don't get ideas. Anything. Knowledge comes first, or books will come first. Only experience coming first. What we experience, that we will put it in the books. Put it in the form of books. So this is the reality you have to take. What Bhairavi Brahmani, what Pandits declared, yes, Sri Ramakrishna is avatara. That is not the criteria first thing. Of course, that is also should be taken into consideration. Of Shastra is the consideration, but experience. That is why Shankaracharya says, how to read Shastra. Shastra is the pramana. How Shastra is the pramana, Shankaracharya says, the three things are there. Shruti, first to listen. Shruti means Shastra should be listened. First to hear. After hearing, just hearing, suppose somebody is telling something, it is not enough. You have to use your brain. Yukti, Shankaracharya says. Shruti, carefully you should listen what he says. Some in TV argument we are seeing, continuous argument, nobody is listening. Each one is arguing, go on talking, but nobody is ready to listen. That is not happening. That is not correct. That is not the correct way. In discussion, there are 4 types. One is discussion, charcha. That is conversation. Second is vada, argument. Third is jalpa. No jalpa means no conclusion, no any idea, no ideal, simply casually gossiping. That is called jalpa. Third is vithanda. Whatever I say, I am correct. Simply illogically argument. That is the thing happening. See, it is not like that. What Shankara says, to accept anything, anybody's statement, any guru's statements, if you want to accept, first thing you listen carefully. Sri Ramakrishna is like, when you are going to read in the next classes, coming classes, this Mahendranath Gupta, Master Mahashaya, who recorded this gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So keenly, he had a tremendous, prodigious memory and keen observation he had. So that is very much necessary. Shankara says, Shruti, you have to listen carefully. Then Yukti. Yukti means reasoning. Whatever it is presented before you, you have to use your brain. Suppose Shastra says, fire is very cold. Will you accept? Because my experience is that. So that is why first is Shruti, listen, and Yukti. And then third is experience. So 3 things should be, experience should be there. So when experience is there, automatically reasoning, everything will be justified. When without experience, just you are going for theory, it will not work. That is why Sri Ramakrishna, why we are going to read Sri Ramakrishna's life and teachings, because he is out of his own experience. Sri Ramakrishna, why he practiced all the sadhana, Tantra sadhana, Advaita sadhana, apart from that other religion sadhana, why he practiced? See, without practice, without experience, this gospel, this Kathamrita, in Bengali it is Kathamrita, it will not become Shastra. It is just only his own ideas, only theory it will become. Without that is why we have to contemplate on Sri Ramakrishna's life. Then only we will be able to understand his every word of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. That is why Shruti, Yukti and Anubhava. That is what Shankara says. That these 3 things exactly followed by Sri Ramakrishna. In this age, for Dwapara Yoga, for him not necessary. What Bhagavad Gita says, Bhagavad Gita, all, because he is Paramatma. That our incarnation is different. For this age, for this Kali Yuga, because people are very intellectuals, call themselves intellectuals. So, very conveniently, ignorantly intellectuals. In now present condition, nobody is ready. Everybody thinks I am intelligent. That is the condition of this society. You are seeing Vitandavada, unnecessary arguments, they do. So for these people, how to convince the present society? You cannot put just like that is why for that to argue such a level, to present his what he realized, present before the society, he collected the jewels among the disciples, all the jewels, his disciples. So among them is Swami Vivekananda. He selected Swami Vivekananda. He is a very perfect example. How everything, whatever Sri Ramakrishna, every statement of Sri Ramakrishna, he questioned. He questioned, and then see, he was not beginning till the end. Just now I told you. Last in the Sri Ramakrishna, before passing away, before Mahasamadhi, still he had doubt. Swami Vivekananda had doubt. He was more agnostic. Swami Vivekananda, there is no one you can compare with Swami Vivekananda, such a highly intellect. Now we say so many intellectuals, they are nothing in front of Swami Vivekananda. Such an intellectual person Sri Ramakrishna developed. He created Swami Vivekananda. He selected, he made him. He made Swami Vivekananda to the leader to carry out his message. That to carry out his message, what he has to do? Simply, if you go on theory, you will not have. He has read all the books, all the Western philosophy, Indian philosophy, science, everything. Swami Vivekananda is an encyclopedia. Within encyclopedia itself, within 3 days, he finished 10 volumes. When he was Swami Vivekananda, when he was there in Calcutta, he asked his disciple, one of the disciples, Sharat Chandra Chakravarti. Then every day he going there, and brought this one, Encyclopedia Britannica. Encyclopedia, so many volumes. At those time, so many volumes. Then just reading, within 3 days he returning. Then Sharat Chandra Chakravarti commented, it seems, before Swami Vivekananda, he said, to read whole encyclopedia, it will take one lifetime. Then Swami Vivekananda, what nonsense you are taking? You already finished 10 volumes. Then he was surprised. It is impossible, he said. Okay, all right, you bring. He brought that book and he asked wherever you want. Question. He opened and he asked somewhere in the middle of the page, middle of the book. Swamiji not only quoting that particular subject, not only narrating that particular narration, he is quoting verbatim, exact words he is quoting. Then Sharat Chandra Chakravarti is surprised, how it is possible? It is possible only through concentration, to purity. That type of Swami Vivekananda was created by Sri Ramakrishna. Who is this Sri Ramakrishna? He mostly, absolutely unlettered. He never went to school. Of course, Swami Vivekananda went to college, Presidency College, studied, all those things. But this man, this old man, Sri Ramakrishna, born in Kamarpukur, never went to school. He used to go to school only to play. That's not to study. He never had a formal study. Just he was playing, that's all. Finished his school. No schooling. But he highly educated. That is, as Albert Einstein said, he became so great scientist because what he said, I never allowed my schooling for my education, he said. Schooling is different and education is different. Education doesn't mean only going to go to school. Of course, necessary. Going to school is not, I'm not denying that you should not go to school. Go to school, but we have to go to we should be educated. not just schooling, not having certificates. But Sri Ramakrishna never went to any school, but he was a great laboratory of spirituality. Whatever written in the Shastras, he practiced in his own life. That is the reason he was able to command, he was able to preach, because his life is a testimony what he preached. Without seeing, without contemplating his life, very difficult to understand his teachings. Because why you have to contemplate, why I'm not telling you have to understand his life. It is very difficult to understand his life. Even understand the life of Sri Krishna is very difficult. Understanding Sri Ramachandra, because you even know also Sri Ramachandra facing so much problem. Even after Treta Yuga, what was, you people are so much of commenting, oh, why Sri Ramachandra sent away Sita like this. And even also the real estate problem, fighting for land. So all those things, but because these avatars, these Paramatma, very difficult to understand. Only you can contemplate. How to contemplate? You have to study how whatever they speak, because they have practiced in their life. Whatever they spoke, whatever they instructed us, they have practiced in our life. What they have never practiced, they never told. So in this avatara, of course, Sri Ramachandra time, there was no problem of dharma. Only problem is animosity. It was just like it was no rules. Ravana, he knew dharma, adharma. Ravana is not an ordinary person. He was a great scholar. He is a Brahmana. He is Shastra Pandita. And he is he was authority on Samaveda. And all those things. But only one thing is some weakness. Certain weakness. That is the only thing. He was not adharmi. Absolutely, you cannot say he is adharmi. What is his? Your wife is my wife. That is no rules at all. There is no proper way of thinking. That's in spite of all the Shastras. That was not the big problem. So, for that, what was necessary? He practiced, Sri Ramachandra practiced righteousness. Who, as an ideal human being, how one should be. That was necessary for those days, that period. Necessary for that period. And while coming to Dwapara Yuga, Sri Krishna, if you study Sri Krishna's life in Mahabharata, everything is chaos. Then only started all politics, adharma, dharma, conflict between. Then started one side, all the following rules, but no dharma. No dharma, no principle. So if you read Duryodhana is pakka following all the rules, what he framed. Following rules, okay. See, any country, any society, the constitution is there. Only I will go by constitution. It is okay, constitution is necessary for administrative purpose. But above all, require principles. Their humanity, concern for your concern for your neighbor, concern your brother, sister. So what was lacking in Dwapara Yuga when Sri Krishna advent, Duryodhana, he is pakka following the rules. Because of rules only he lost in the game, Yudhishthira. As per the rules. But finally what happened, he didn't have any concern for my brothers, my own uncle's brother. No concern, no principle. That was the lacking. But what is happening for this sage, for this Kali Yuga? No rules, no dharma in Kali Yugas. And forgetting, more and more becoming materialist. Only worshipping material things. Only my selfishness. Absolutely selfishness. No dharma. Whatever I practice, that is dharma. And then what is it is so much of confusion. Dharma and adharma is full of confusion. This was the situation when Sri Ramakrishna was incarnate. The society was one side becoming so much of this should not be there, that should not be there. That is why Swami Vivekananda when he gave lectures from Colombo to Almora during his lectures in India, Swamiji says, our religion has gone to the kitchen, he says. Whether take food right hand or left hand, and whether this you have to take 5 times bath or 3 times bath, only these customs and traditions became so predominant, forgetting the main ideal. So that was the necessary. Another side, completely ignoring religion, completely ignoring, go on criticizing all the customs. See, all the avatars did not criticize any type of practices. When Swami Vivekananda in his own lecture he says, yes, there was some practices were there, some customs, some traditions. Don't criticize. It helped for that. Now you grow. Don't criticize anything. All your practice, okay. What you are doing is all right. Don't stick on there. You grow. You be better. What was there, what has happened, what was done, practiced in those days, in earlier days, that is perfectly altered for that period. Now you become better. Don't criticize. That is Swami Vivekananda, what he said, I don't believe in reforms, I believe in growth. When Swami Vivekananda, during Brahma Samaj, widow remarriage, when he was talking about remarriage, all those things, why vehemently criticized about that widow remarriage. Why? Why widow remarriage? You give them education. Whether they marry or not, am I a widow? Am I a woman? Am I a widow? Let them give them education. Whether to marry or don't marry, they will decide. Who are you to decide? Only education you give. When education is there, they will decide. So Swami Vivekananda never believed. The same Sri Ramakrishna never believed that you would change everything. Changing and aggressively going, brutally you're changing something, customs. Don't do that. Give them education. Sri Ramakrishna, what he said, suppose for example, in the caste system, what he said, he did not criticize, overnight you throw away everything. He did not like that. For bhaktas, no caste at all. When you go towards Bhagavan, when you go towards reality, then automatically all these things will go away. When you go towards east, when you go towards automatically west is left behind. That is the idea. All this in this Rama Avatara, Shri Krishna Avatara, they did not change any system. That only they modified. How to turn. In the same Sri Ramakrishna, what he said. See, each one of us, some weakness will be there. Human beings we have some weakness. It is natural for weaknesses. So just those weaknesses, just turn towards Paramatma. When in Avatar of Narasimha Avatara, Hiranyakashipu, his weakness was anger, dvesha. Weakness was dvesha, revenge. So the same revenge, he just focused towards Paramatma. Then he realized, he saw Paramatma. He had the division of Narasimha. And the same in Sri Ramakrishna's life, his own disciple, devotee, Girish Chandra Ghosh, he himself says, if I had known that Sri Ramakrishna would come, I would have committed much more sins, he said. So much of sins he has committed, that the same, what he has committed, same sin, Sri Ramakrishna, just one turn he gave. Then he became great saint. The same Girish Chandra Ghosh, sinner, he became a saint. So all these avatars, that is the reason when you are next class, next to next Sunday, not coming Sunday, coming next to next Sunday, every alternate Sunday, you will study this gospel. So that is the reason what we have to contemplate this life, Sri Ramakrishna's life. Then, if you study his life, just if you read and study his life, then you will be able to understand his teachings. That is the reason in this class I gave brief introduction of Sri Ramakrishna's life, and next class we will take up his teachings. Based on this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, let us close now. Om Niranjanam Nityamanantarupam Bhaktanukampaadritavigraham Vai Ishavataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namah.